I mean, it's not that I'm just watching this policy. I'm going to Washington. I'm banging down the doors where I can. I'm taking meetings with every senator or congressman or woman that'll listen. I'm just one of those private investors that are going to the Hill and saying, look, here's why this has merit. Now, the real potential, we're kind of stuck in a range on Bitcoin right now with 23,000. Big miners are making coin, getting awarded coin around 7,000. So the economics are still there to put money in the ground. But the big opportunity, the mega opportunity for Bitcoin, and why I stay long and why I continue to allocate to Bitcoin, is when we get policy and institutions can allocate to it, sovereign wealth and pension institutions, they'll probably put 50 basis points, which is half of 1%, up to 1% into Bitcoin. And that's where you're going to break out of this range. How high? Nobody knows, because the demand is almost insatiable. Most large institutions want a position in crypto, and they want the granddaddy crypto. They want Bitcoin. They can't buy it yet. So for all of the excitement when we talk about institutional buyers, I'm also in the indexing business. I service the institutions and the sovereign funds with indexing, and they all tell me they want to index for Bitcoin, but they can't buy it. They don't have any policy. They don't have any compliance infrastructure. So we got to get this done. We got to get some policy. If it's just stable coins and Bitcoin, just those two asset classes, that's a huge win for everybody that's involved in crypto. Huge amount of capital come flowing in. When that happens, we don't know. The first indication would be allowing an ETF with the underlying asset being mark-to-market Bitcoin itself, like they've got up in Canada. That thing had billions in it as soon as it got announced. We don't have that yet. It just got turned down again. And that's why there's a war going on between the SEC and other regulators, a turf war as it might be, on who's going to regulate Bitcoin. We don't have to go crazy. We don't have to get 100 or 10,000 coins. If we could just get stable coin policy, Bitcoin policy, maybe Ethereum, maybe Polygon, maybe Solana, that would be enough. That would be huge. That's a large amount of market cap just right now in crypto.
Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Shark Tank star and well-known investor Kevin O'Leary updates about regulatory clarity in cryptocurrency space, particularly in Bitcoin, price performance of Bitcoin in the last few weeks, and institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies. Kevin O'Leary also predicts about Bitcoin's upcoming bull run, which he expects will begin in the next 6 to 12 months, and why he expects a massive breakout soon. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Kevin O'Leary reveals where Bitcoin's price will go in the next 2 years. So without wasting any more of our time, let's dive right into the video.
The thing that's holding Bitcoin back, everything you said there is correct. I'm not sure about ETH 2.0 because, wow, they keep bringing dates and coming and going. It hasn't happened yet. I'm a bit of a
I'll believe it when I see it, yeah.
But I think it doesn't matter. These projects are all worth owning because you don't know who's going to win. But when it comes to Bitcoin, the floodgates themselves is compliance infrastructure at the sovereign fund level, the Norway fund, the Saudis, the United Arab Emirates, our own states, pension plans. If we were calling that asset, whatever we're going to call it, a commodity or a security, and we got that done, I don't care which direction it goes, why wouldn't you be allocating to any portfolio a portion to Bitcoin, just like you would for real estate, just like you would for stocks, just like you would for bonds? That would really change the dynamic on Bitcoin. And when that happens, you have to make a decision. Do you get ahead of that curve, not knowing when that actually is going to occur? Or do you wait until it occurs? Because it'll be, in terms of price appreciation, I believe it'll be dramatic. It'll be dramatic. You could have a gap up 10, 15, 20, 25% overnight because you've opened up trillions of dollars worth of access to a new asset class. That doesn't happen too often. And I think all of the productivity and all of the people that are working on the blockchain and all the projects out there, and I always remind people, Bitcoin is not a coin, it's software. There's lots of really smart guys leaving colleges that are engineering and moving to the United Arab Emirates or the Caribbean islands. They don't stay stateside because they don't have any policy. So all that intellectual capital could come back stateside. There'll be a lot of things happening once we get policy, once we get regulation. And I think you're right. The timing is probably 6, 12 months, but Katie, bar the doors when that happens. It's going to be really wild.
Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, says he has bought the dip during the recent cryptocurrency market sell-off. He added, "Now crypto itself desperately needs policy, it needs regulation." Kevin O'Leary shared his crypto market outlook and investment strategy during this bear market in an interview with Stansberry Research, published on Thursday. "I see Bitcoin sort of testing 20,000 all the time, getting a lot of resistance," he said when asked about the state of the cryptocurrency, adding that Bitcoin seems to be holding between 20,000 and 23,000. Still, very profitable for Bitcoin miners that are currently mining at about $7,000 per coin at scale.
The wallet infrastructure, whether you go centralized or decentralized, is shit. It's just not good. And I'll tell you, I don't mean, excuse my French, it is shit. And the reason I say that is it doesn't hook up to the existing compliant infrastructure for institutional investors. When they buy Bitcoin, it's very difficult for them to plug it in to their portfolio mandates because all of the other assets, the majority of them, get marked to market at 4:01 in the afternoon, New York time. That's not the case for Bitcoin. It just keeps trading 24/7, as we all know. So there's a disconnect to the way that their own compliance departments say, well, how do I monitor this for 24/7 trading? If you're using leverage, for example, or you're not allowed to own more than 5%, or you're not allowed to own more than 20%. There's all these rules by which institutions have to be compliant. So when I talk to these guys about, and the women who manage these funds, they say, look, I'd love to own some Bitcoin, but there's nowhere to fit it in. I don't have any infrastructure. The wallets aren't secure. You saw the Solana hack again. I mean, we got a lot of work to do as an industry to clean it up, whether you believe in the centralized or decentralized model. I don't care. I use them both myself. But I have to admit, like everybody else in the nascent days, I've been ripped off on a decentralized wallet till I got the joke on security. Now it's hard to do that to me. But you have to go through the learning curve, and a lot of institutions just want to plug and play. So you want that rapid adoption. Let's clean up the wallet system. I don't care, both centralized, decentralized. Let institutions decide what they want to do. You know, we heard the announcement that BlackRock's working with Coinbase. That's not going to really change much because there's not many institutions that are going to use the fees that Coinbase has. They'll probably go to FTX or Binance to do that. But I'm not saying Coinbase won't give an institutional pricing, but it doesn't matter. There's no demand yet. We need to fix the compliance that you plug in, whatever register you've got, whatever wallet you've got, works right into your system. And that's the kind of stuff I'm working on. I mean, I talk to so many banks, so many institutions. It's always the same story. I call up compliance. I want to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. They just say, no, Nanette.
Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary says a massive opportunity for Bitcoin could start to materialize in the coming months. In a new interview with CryptoJeb, O'Leary says the floodgates will open for Bitcoin if BTC gets adequate compliance infrastructure at the sovereign fund level. And the big opportunity, the mega opportunity for Bitcoin, and why I stay long and why I continue to allocate to Bitcoin, is when we get policy and institutions can allocate to it. Sovereign wealth and pension institutions, they'll probably put 50 basis points, which is half 1%, up to 1% into Bitcoin, and that's where you're going to break out of this range. How high? Nobody knows because the demand is almost insatiable.
Think about, well, let's pick one, USDC. That's the one that was the most stable during the crazy Luna situation when algorithmic didn't work and it cratered. Not USDC because it was backed by the US dollar. So let's just say those kind of, not just USDC, but any coin or any token or any payment system that's going to be backed by a dollar sticks with those rules. That would be policy. And they're going to treat it, the way they're going to try and get around the whole issue is, USDC or Ether or Tether or any of these things. Are they coins? Are they payment systems? Whatever. They're going to look at it and say, we don't care. Let's call it a payment system, no different than when you're transferring capital. It's going to be the same rules that we dictated in a money market fund, and then let the market compete. And so you're going to have different players with different amounts of T-bills, different amounts of cash. But the point is there'd be regulation for them. And the use of those as payment systems would become global, and it would be backed by the US dollar. That supports the US dollar as the default currency of the earth. What politician, regardless of what side of the aisle, doesn't like that? And so that's the likely first step. When institutions see that happen, let's say we get lucky and it happens in September, that's when the focus goes to Bitcoin. That's when the granddaddy asset, the one that everybody wants, that'll be the next chip to fall. And I think that's when the big opportunity is going to happen. That's after the midterms, after November 8th. The House is probably going to switch. A lot of Republicans are pro-digital, pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin. All of that action is going to happen in the back end of the year and early in Q1 of next year. I think we can get policy and perhaps an ETF backed by Bitcoin sometime in the first 6 months of 2023. That's why you got to be long now. You have to, in my view, you want to be ahead of the market.
The popular venture capitalist also says that a huge amount of capital could flow into crypto markets if policies are set in place for Bitcoin and stablecoins. In terms of price appreciation, I believe it will be dramatic. You could have a gap of up to 10%, 15%, 20%, or even 25% overnight because you've opened up trillions of dollars worth of access to a new asset class, and that doesn't happen very often. O'Leary predicts that policies could get enacted for BTC in the next 6 to 12 months. So, do you think Bitcoin will turn bullish in the next 6 to 12 months? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video, and thanks so much for watching.